and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, that's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings. Big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the par, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the thing. So do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo.
We are live!
Come to the Kings, that's my favorite show.
It wasn't pretty. In fact, it was downright ugly to start. But the end of the night, the Kings go to Atlanta and get the win. Happy Friday nights.
What up, Deuce?
Woo!
Hey, Morgan.
Hi.
I'm rooting for y'all.
Yeah, those Kings bounce back in a big way. Yes. Good week for a little Carlin. Carlin, by the way, below us right now. And what a way to cap off a week with a Kings win. How are we doing in the live night chat? Shout out to Chris, who says, finally made it for a live night chats.
Welcome. Oh, yeah. It's early.
Oh, man. Let me just tell you something, Morgan Reagan.
What are you going to tell me?
Let me tell you something. I was thinking some bad things during this game. I was like, are we really coming on to do a night chat after a loss like this? After what went down the first half and how it was tracking at times. And even when they made a run, you're like, there's so many turnovers, so many lame mistakes. They dug themselves a hole, and we're going to be on talking about, well, they fought back, but, can they just put it together?
That was what I was worried about.
Well, as Morgan eats some mac and cheese right now, she's got back from San Francisco. Shout out to Morgan for driving back in the rain from San Francisco at the NBC Sports California studios to be here for Night Chat.
You don't have to shut me out. I had so many weird thoughts on my way back here.
What was the weirdest thought you had?
Well, you really want to know?
Yeah, I do. We're not starting the pod yet. It's a Friday night. I crack open a beer. You got some wine. Let's cheers.
Cheers, and then you're going to be like, what?
Yeah.
So I was driving in silence, pouring rain. And I was thinking about Carlin.
Yeah.
And his surgery and the money and all those things. And I was like, okay, hear me out.
Okay.
This would be the tagline. And it would be, got to get my sexy voice on.
You have one of those?
I think, hold on. You like big things? You like big feet? Save a paw. Enjoy my foot.
Wait.
Hold on.
Were you?
Hold on. The FAW campaign by Morgan Reagan. So FAW is foot and paw put together. And I was thinking of this campaign and going on OnlyFans and selling my feet to raise money for Carlin's surgery and rehab. And I kept thinking about it. I was like, could this be a thing? FAW campaign.
Well, you know what? If you're really thinking about this, I do want to give everyone kind of a sneak preview of what you could get if you purchase Morgan's feet. There's, believe it or not, a picture available. I was able to track down online. Pretty good at searching things. Here we go. Second screen it. There's Morgan's feet. Ain't no one trying to look at your nasty ass Shrek feet.
You'd be some people like big feet, and on top of that, it's like for a good cause.
Okay, Morgan, can you also tell the people in the chat you're joking? Because I think some people just popped in the chat. Oh, where's the link?
Get your
hold on.
Get your two-legged dog.
And by the way, we haven't started the pod yet. We got a lot to talk about this win, but just know, like, Carlin,
he's behind.
Is trying to scoot on out of here because he thinks he can walk.
We're just gonna have to shut the doors.
Come on,
Yeah, but you guys, for real? Yeah, taking potty. And we're just gonna discuss basketball. So anyway, I'm like, everyone else is on OnlyFans, except I'm not there trying to sell my body. Like, I'm not trying to sell boob shots or any of that thing. I just want to sell my feet, raise some money for Carlin in his rehab, and just so there's like peace of mind and like I don't have to worry about anything. The FAW campaign, feet and paw combined, you know? And I think people would do it because there are so many people that are dog people. And for only $50 more, I will change my toe polish monthly. Anybody? No, I'm getting stop, please. LOL. Okay, slippery slope. Well, no, it would, trust me, feet. And I was thinking this, I was like, okay, low end. You can't spend $100 a foot, $200 for my feet. Yes, I thought out an entire business plan on my way home. And I was like, okay, well, we can do socks. And get this. For dirty sock photo, because like we all have dirty socks, right? Dirty sock photo, it was like 25. But like clean sock photo, don't get too sexy on me. 50. Yeah. Everyone's saying do it.
Okay, stop it.
Everyone's saying. I love it. Let her cook. Hashtag FAW. We're going to have to shut the doors.
Let's give a shout out real fast to Carlin, who was moving around. You're going, what's going on, Carl? You got to go to the bathroom? He knew he had to go outside to go poop.
Hey!
This is progress for little Carlin right here.
You felt the poop, man?
Yeah.
Oh, you're such a good boy.
Can you lay down so we can start the podcast? Like, what?
Lay down. What the?
And I appreciate your guys' patience as we try to get through this whole Carlin rehab situation. Hopefully it continues to get better. What?
Should I get the bigger bed?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
Curtis says 9:30, huh? I don't know what you're saying. 9:30? We do have so much to discuss with this game tonight, and I'm hoping that when we look back on this game, that this could be maybe a turning point for this team. I mean, it wasn't a perfect game by any means, but the response in the second half was big time stuff. So, yes.
We got it. We got this. And we could make a little extra money.
Okay, we're done
and
talking
have someone
about
watch
it.
Okay.
It was a good bit. There's a dead horse over there.
You say it's like a bit, but why? Here's my question. There's nothing like that we are doing wrong by doing that. We could even sell your feet photos.
Cool.
Okay, whatever.
Good bit. If you have not yet, do us a favor, hit the thumbs up and subscribe because that will help us grow as well. It means the world if you could do that. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and participate in the poll question. Get the comments going. Let's have some fun. Deuce and Mo, we're coming down in 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Hey, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. The Kings coming off an ugly loss in Portland. How are they going to respond? Well, they responded by getting down 23 points in Atlanta to the Hawks. The defense was really bad, missed shots galore, and you're wondering, wait, is this kind of who the Kings are?
Yeah.
Well, the Kings responded in a big way in the second half. After giving up 71 points in the first half, they allow only 39 points. De'Aaron Fox had a career-high 8 3-pointers. The bench stepped up big, and the Kings were able to steal a win in Atlanta, 117-100. I'm Deuce Mason alongside Morgan Reagan. Each and every one of our podcasts presented by our friends over at Northwest Exteriors. Check out northwestexteriors.com. Morgan Reagan, how you doing?
Great. Fantastic. Wonderful.
Wow, all of those.
No, not really. I just saw, because was looking all through the post game
Yeah.
on who has an update on Kevin Huerter, and I just saw one from 2 hours ago, and I'm like, so there was an update, and I just am mad at myself that I didn't have that on the post game at all. Like I was just like, we'll tell you more when we figure it out. It's like that I'm seeing things that I was just missing. So I'm just.
What's the update? It said left hand.
And I didn't know. I didn't even know what it was. I thought he came back from the bench. I didn't know he was ruled out. And now seeing that now, I'm like, oh, okay. But it makes, obviously, it's not the only reason why he played a certain amount of minutes. There was other things going on, but there were so many good things that was happening with this team as a team when they were rallying back in this one that made my heart so full.
Wow, made your heart full.
It did. It did. Well, I think it made my heart full too, because it was when we were talking to Trey Lyles after the game, Matt Barnes and I, Trey was like, saying something like, hey, or Matt was saying, just be honest, I think you should have been in there the last 5 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And Trey's like, yeah, but the thing is, Keegan, the flow, the game, the energy, everything was going fine. So like they were talking about putting me back in. I'm like, no, let it fly, let it go. And I just love how this team responds with one another as teammates. I just think they do such a great job of just bouncing off each other, the mentality.
Well, the Kings were able to get a win after a slow start. They are now 18-12. We are 30 games into the NBA season. There are definitely some questions after a game like tonight. One, as Morgan mentioned, with Kevin Huerter, how he played in the first half, and then, of course, leaving the game with injury. And, of course, Harrison Barnes. But we got to start with the good. And the good was that the Kings responded big time in the second half. The De'Aaron Fox thing is just insane at this point. I mean, he has a career high in threes. He finishes with 31 points on 8 of 16 from 3. I never thought I'd live a day where I'd see De'Aaron Fox take 16 threes in a game and then knock down 8 of them. This has been a theme this year. 16 of his 20 shots from beyond the arc tonight. What do you make of what De'Aaron Fox was able to do, specifically in the second half when he finished with 26 points and hit 7 of 12 from 3 in the second half?
For the few minutes that we talked on my way back here, I was telling you, like, this is going to become a theme that is just part of his game. And there's going to be nights where he's missing those shots and we're not just saying, oh, he was settling, he must have been tired and that's why he didn't drive it in. It's like there's going to be nights that he's missing shots, but he's taking a lot because he's a shooter. When you're shooting like that, you got to keep shooting the basketball. But there was a moment in this game that I was like, could you stop? You're settling. What are you doing? But I think he's trying to just prove not only to himself, but to everyone else, like, no, I'm more than this is just jacking up some 3-point shots. I can shoot this shit.
He had some amazing moments tonight. Malik Monk bounced back after some games where he's been struggling, and Trey Lyles had a breakout game. So a lot to uncover there. Let's rewind, though. This first quarter was really bad for the Sacramento Kings. The first half, what's going through your mind, Morgan, with the start that the Sacramento Kings had? They were down 31-8 at the 3:44 mark. The Hawks went on an 18-2 run at that point.
It was 31-8.
It was 31-8.
Oh my God. Like, I was thinking bad things.
It was so disappointing. And it's one thing to miss shots, but to me, the defensive focus was awful. I mean, I thought Huerter had some really rough moments trying to defend Murray. DeJounte Murray was just destroying the Kings early on, and it felt like the Kings could not contain the ball at all. Atlanta was able to get into the paint. They were rotating the ball like crazy, getting good looks. Capella got it going. The Kings had zero answer for the Hawks early in this game, and I'm walking away going, what? This is off the heels of what happened in Portland?
Mm-hmm. And it's like, you look at their offensive rebounds for the Hawks, 18 offensive rebounds that led to 26 points. Now, that continued to happen even in the second half, but even when it was happening, obviously, in the first half and in that first quarter, it felt like the Hawks just wanted it more. And the way that they were breaking down the Kings defense, it was one of those moments where, again, it didn't look super dominant. It looked like something that was stoppable. Like their offense that, by the way, top 5 offense in the league.
Yes.
And it's still, at times, to me, I was like, you're just not seeing the Kings look right now. And how they were looking, I was starting to believe, okay, this is who they are this season. Like I was feeling worried about their identity really showing themselves in, especially in some of these losses and then in the beginning of this game. But again, resiliency, being able to rally back with one another, and locking in just so differently, especially in that third quarter, is what gave me hope that they are something different.
Yeah, some of the defensive breakdowns early. The first bucket of the game that the Hawks had, I was like, what's happening? It was an inbound pass, and Huerter and Barnes miscommunicated on a switch, and it led to like the easiest layup for the Hawks. And you're going, okay, this can't happen. And to Mike Brown's credit, he didn't play those guys long. He took Barnes and Huerter out at the 6:55 mark of the first quarter, did not put them in for the rest of the half. And he went with the bench unit. I thought tonight, of course, we're going to spend some time talking about Fox. Sabonis had some really nice moments too. But tonight, I think the story is the bench. I mean, it's flat out what they provided. Because we mentioned the Kings being down 31-8. But the end of the first, the Kings were only down 13. And you think, 36-23. Look at that score if you weren't watching the game going, you're down 13 in Atlanta. But the way things were going, you're like, that feels like a kind of small victory. It was 31-8 at 3:44. And it ends up being 36-23 at the end of one. So it was kind of in reach again. I love what the bench brought. And I thought it started with Malik Monk coming in, bringing some energy. One of my favorite plays of the game, could be the moment of the game, Alex Len, who had a great contest at the rim. And then Fox pushed in through an unbelievable alley-oop in transition to Malik Monk.
It was beautiful. I mean, it was one of those moments like, okay, things could change. And obviously things kept going up and down after that still. But it felt like they were getting it together, especially the bench, like you said. So glad to see Alex Len back out there. But you said the story is the bench. Absolutely. Yeah. It's the rotations, though. It was who was coming in off the bench. Everyone from Chris Duarte, Malik Monk, Alex Len.
Davion Mitchell.
Then you go down the line and you see Davion Mitchell get his minutes and make an impact. I loved what everyone from the bench was contributing. But what was so great is that I felt like that ended up giving an extra spark and energy to like De'Aaron even at the end, because how many times in these other losses were we talking about, hey, De'Aaron had 43, Sabonis had 34. What was the rest of the team doing? And I think there was something about that was like relief for him. So he's like, great, I can shoot it here. I can do this. But yeah, absolutely the bench, what they added early in this game in that first half.
Yeah, they were able to chip away a little bit. And of course, it got uglier before it got better. But taking a step back, Alex Len, the Kings have missed him a lot. And having him out there, he only played, 13 minutes. But we've talked about forever. Can the Kings just find some stability behind Sabonis? A guy that's not going to do too much. It's going to come in. He's going to go vertical at the rim, block some shots, rebound, and just not try to do everything out there. And JaVale McGee, who has the abilities to block a shot, contest at the rim, he also has the ability to make a ton of mistakes, which we've seen. We've seen him try to take a ball in transition, doing a Euro step when he's got De'Aaron Fox right next to him. We see the goaltends. We see some of the miscues out there. And Mike Brown elected to go with Alex Len and said JaVale McGee. And Alex Len was fantastic. Jalen Johnson, who is a talented young player for the Atlanta Hawks, driving from the corner, Alex Len just got big, went straight up, contested the shot, prevented an easy jam that I think if anyone else is in there is probably a dunk. And he did it multiple times with contests at the rim, and what a difference it made. I just felt like he came in, played control, didn't make mistakes, and had a major impact on the game. I want to look at his numbers at the end of the night. Alex Len, 2 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds in 13 minutes.
Yeah. It's
4 dimes.
And that's the thing. It might not even seem like much, but it's like we're saying. What he contributed coming off the bench and being there and his presence being felt
Yep.
on the defensive end, but I think even on the offensive end, there wasn't there a 2-man game at one moment for his 2 points. I think that's what it could have been with Monk, whoever it was with. It was just nice feeling like there was another threat in there, being like, hey, I know he's not a JaVale McGee, has that bounce lob threat, but he still is capable of making a shot at the rim.
Yeah, I thought he was exactly what Sacramento has needed coming off the bench to back up Sabonis. And if he can keep playing like that, it's going to be a nice asset for Sacramento to have. He's a vet. He understands his role. He's not going to do too much. And having a guy that can contest at the rim is a big deal. So I loved what he brought tonight. And then the next guy, I know you're going to laugh at me, Morgan, but you were driving back to Sacramento.
What?
So I went on League Pass and watched the all possessions of this game.
Okay.
So I rewatched the game.
Weird.
Chris Duarte jumped out to me immediately.
Really?
Chris Duarte was outstanding in this game. He had a couple of miscues too. He had a bad turnover in the fourth, whatever. He also had a big three.
There you go.
He had one drive where, he got blocked. And there was definitely some moments like, I'm talking about what he did defensively tonight. This guy was all over Trae Young.
Mm-hmm.
He frustrated Trae Young.
He did.
He was out there playing his ass off. He wasn't, getting caught fouling. I thought for a guy that's been out of the rotation to come in and provide that type of lift was huge for Sacramento tonight. What jumped out to you about Chris Duarte?
It was the big three that really stood out to me with Chris Duarte. It was just like, you can talk about what he did within his 24 minutes.
I mean, he closed the game. He played the fourth quarter for Sacramento.
He closed the game, and it was that big three that he hit in that corner when it was just timely. It was needed. He was 1 for 3 from 3-point land. So even with the few others that he was missing, I'm like, damn it, you're in there, you're in there to provide a little bit of offense and obviously all the defense that you are showing up and bringing. But I felt like his tone and his intensity that he brought in right away really set up how the Kings wanted to pressure the perimeter. And I don't know if everyone started following a lot more after that. I think with him, with Davion, and then it allowed De'Aaron to go to work on DeJounte Murray. I just felt like everyone started really doing their job late in this game. Chris Duarte did a great job of really setting that tone when he came in too.
I thought especially late, and I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but when you had Fox out there, Monk out there, Duarte, Keegan, and Sabonis, they played the final almost 7 minutes of this game in the fourth quarter. And it was 105-98 when that unit was first playing together. So obviously a great close because the Kings won 117-110. But from a defensive standpoint, it was cool because you could have Fox on DeJounte Murray. You had Keegan, if Jalen Johnson was out there, on him. And then you put Duarte on Trae Young. And it gave you a little more flexibility. Keegan made a couple of defensive mistakes kind of coming out aggressively when they were trying to trap Trae Young and get the ball out of his hands.
Yeah.
And, King got some tough fouls. But I thought overall there were some really good defensive moments in the second half by that group.
Yeah, and you think about that one challenge late with Mike Brown.
The Kings won a challenge tonight.
The Kings won a challenge. And that was the one that Chris Duarte, they had him going into the back of Trae Young, and Mike Brown challenged it, that it wasn't a foul.
Yeah, because Trae Young was kind of pushing off.
Correct. Oh, yeah, he
does it all the time. Yeah.
So, no, it was nice not only that they won a challenge and that Mike Brown didn't use that challenge early on with Keegan. Remember early on when there was that, I forget who it was that was going up to the basket.
Might have been Jalen Johnson.
I think it was. It was Jalen Johnson. And Jalen Johnson fell to the floor. He was not, it was like his momentum took him there. It was nothing to do with anyone else.
I felt like, I didn't see like 800 replays of it, but I felt like Keegan touched him enough that the officials would not have overturned it.
Yes.
So I'm glad they didn't challenge
it. Was like this. And it was a touch. It didn't alter his body or anything like that.
Well, that was a big challenge too. It was at the 2:05 mark when Mike Brown elected to challenge that. And I want to look back at the play-by-play at that moment. So 2:05, it's 114-110. Okay, and the foul would have been obviously on Duarte. It's overturned, and then all of a sudden it's Kings ball after that. So that was good, and you're able to chew up some clock. The Kings didn't score on that next possession, but by the time the Hawks got the ball back, there's a minute 15 left on the clock. So that was a critical challenge for Mike Brown's staff, and they won that challenge, so that was big. We talked about Duarte. We talked about Alex Len. Davion Mitchell. This guy has been in the doghouse for a minute. And you don't want to leave the dog in the doghouse too long.
Why?
Well, because I want him out there. I just like
I
Davion.
just wondered what you were going to say.
It was interesting. I was listening to Mike Brown's post game tonight.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't have my minute sheet on me, but Davion wasn't scheduled to play tonight. Keon Ellis was supposed to play, and Mike Brown's like, I didn't even tell my coaches. I just felt like in that moment we needed Davion's lift. We needed Davion to go out there. And you know what? That was the right call. Davion goes out there, and he's instantly out there playing good defense, whether it's on DeJounte Murray or trying to make life more difficult on Trae Young. He took a charge. He was just a pest out there. And that goes a huge credit. That's why we're bringing up the bench so much. We're talking about Alex Len, who just got back from injury after being out for a couple of months, it seems, right? Then you got Chris Duarte, who has really been out of the rotation.
Yeah.
Davion, who's been completely out of the rotation. And those are three guys that were impactful in helping you get back in this game and winning tonight.
I loved that Davion had that moment. And when I say that moment, it was 13 minutes being out there and really showing why people talk about him as a defender the way that they do talk about him. And I know that him not being able to provide offense for so much of his game is what is taking him off the court. I get that. But there's just this elite skill set that he has that is so valuable. And I'm just so glad that it was used out there on a night like this, where it's like, it isn't like, hey, we're desperate, garbage time, go Davion, let's see if you can get us back into it. He went to him quick enough early on in the game and was like, this is the type of mentality we need. This is the type of energy we need. And like you said, Davion was a pest and really on guys along the perimeter, but I thought he did a fantastic job of taking away the vision of Trae Young. So he wasn't, it wasn't easy for him to just initiate the offense and go on with the game.
Yeah, Davion checked in for the first time at the 9:02 mark of the second quarter, and of course got some minutes in the third quarter and in the early fourth quarter as well, when they had a Fox, Mitchell, Duarte, Lyles, Len lineup tonight in this one. So the bench deserves a lot of love. We didn't even talk about Trey Lyles yet either. Trey Lyles hit some big shots, and it was good to see him finally knock down some shots. The Kings bench was awful last game. Really, outside of Fox and Sabonis scoring 77 points, it's like, who else is going to show up? Well, the bench showed up tonight, and Trey, I thought, had some really critical three balls when the Kings were trying to make a push and get back in the game. He finished with 19.6 rebounds. Yep. He was 4 of 9 from downtown.
Some big rebounds. Those 6 rebounds.
And the Kings could not rebound tonight. So
yeah, no, and that's exactly it. And those were huge. Again, we already talked about the 18 offensive boards that Atlanta had that led to 26 second chance opportunities, 26 second chance points. Thank you. Thank you, Morgan, for correcting yourself. Yeah. But Trey Lyles being able to just like get in there, get those boards that he needed, but then on the offensive end was knocking down some big threes, especially in the flow of the game when everyone was feeling good. I already know how much I love Trey Lyles and what he can contribute, but I just love it when it's games like this and you're like, oh yeah, you need someone to fight back for you. And he was one of those guys.
So there was a lot of good, and if you don't watch the game, you may not realize that the Kings at the half were terrible at the end of the quarter. I mean, this was kind of a close game, and then the Hawks go on a 9-0 run in like the final minute, and it was so many self-inflicted wounds by the Kings. Terrible turnovers, just really bad turnovers, and then the transition defense was terrible by Sacramento in those moments. They got killed. Even at the end of the half when Trae Young gets an and one layup, it puts the Hawks up 71-53. They close on a 9-0 run. At halftime, the Hawks were shooting 49%. They were 10 of 20 from 3, 13 of 17 from the free throw line, and had 4 turnovers. Meanwhile, Sacramento 7 of 25 from 3 at the half when they were down 71-53. What's going through your mind after how they close the second quarter? They get back in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, this is competitive. What's going through your mind with how they closed?
This is who they are. That is how I felt in that moment. I might have even text you that. Like, they're telling us who they are. And that worries the hell out of me because they were coming off of a bad loss against Portland and a bad loss to the T-Wolves.
Yeah.
And that loss, if anything, here's why it was a bad loss. Because you come out of the gates swinging, your game looks good, everything's clicking, and you just lose the shit out of the lead, and then
and then you try to come back, it was too late.
It was just exactly in the hole that they keep putting themselves in. So then they're in this hole, they get out of it, and then they go back into it at the half. I'm like, what do you expect us to think about you as a team at that moment? And I get it. It's a game of runs. I kept mentioning that. The NBA, this game, it is a game of runs. But the Kings, when you put yourself down by that many points in so many games this season, it was starting to feel like this is the most consistent thing that you have going for you right now.
Yeah, we've seen too many times where they've been down big in a game. And I think this is like the 10th time maybe this season that they've been down 20 or more in a game. That theme's got to end, right? And, you know, there's a smart guy who said this. He says this a lot in a podcast. He goes, you know, you don't accept in victory what you wouldn't accept in defeat.
Beating a dead horse.
What do you mean? That's a great quote.
I'm just throwing it back at you.
Okay. I'm sorry. Just to be clear for the audio people, Morgan was pushing a campaign where she said she was thinking about selling pictures of her feet online to pay for Carlin's surgery he just had.
Save a paw, enjoy a foot. The FA campaign by Morgan Reagan.
She had to get that in one more time, just for the audio people, too.
It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of bad that we're going to talk about in this game. And I think there's some questions raised after tonight. And now that we're 30 games in, where you're, okay, are there some necessary changes that need to be made with the current rotation and all that stuff? We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, I thought the half, I'm going, this game is winnable, and the Kings are showing it's winnable. You know, going into this game tonight, I knew what the Hawks are capable of from an offensive standpoint, what Trae Young can do. Morgan mentioned it, top 5 in scoring, in offensive rating, top 5 in pace. You know Trae Young can get, 30 every single night, right? And they've got 3-point shooting. Bogdanovich has been great. Murray can get it going. But they're terrible defensively. And I felt like, especially early in the first half, that the Kings were settling a lot from 3. And that's one thing that I think we got to talk about. Like, I think we all want the Kings to shoot threes, right? And the Kings, the coaching staff, they like the number of threes they take. I think my pushback is, do they really like the quality of threes they're getting? There are too many times where it's just getting threes without attacking the paint. And I swear to you, I wish I had the stats in front of me. I don't even know how to look this up. Maybe someone does. What's their percentage on 3-point attempts when they attack the paint?
Okay. Yeah.
And make like 2 passes.
Because otherwise the ball's swinging around, but it's only swinging around the perimeter. And not to say that you can never find a good shot out of that, because I do believe you can. But when you rely on just keeping it outside of the perimeter, you're shifting the defense from left to right, but never in, never making anyone work hard enough. And Deuce, you're exactly right. When the Kings started going to that pick and roll with Domas Sabonis, it became dominant. When they started going more and more with the 2-man game, it didn't matter if it was a DHO or if it was just, whoever it was slipping, slashing through the paint. There was just so many more options, so many better things. Oh, when people would go in that dunker spot, because the Atlanta Hawks and the perimeter defense, the guards would really lose their guys. It was like, yes, make the game simple for yourself and start looking at it differently. And I felt like they started doing that in the fourth quarter, and that's when things were looking good offensively.
I felt like that's what really changed, where Fox started to attack a little more. I was getting really frustrated throughout this game, and I told Morgan, I'm like, Fox has got to put some pressure on the paint. They don't have guards that can defend him. Not many guys can defend De'Aaron Fox right now, okay? No. He's a tough cover in the league. Trae Young can't guard him.
Yeah.
DeJounte Murray's long and can make life challenging, but Fox can battle him. They try to put Patty Mills on De'Aaron Fox at times tonight. I'm going, Patty Mills couldn't guard Morgan today.
Be nice.
The guy's older. It's not even a disrespect thing, but like Patty Mills is not defending De'Aaron Fox. And I thought, oh, this is when the game started to shift. What happened? Morgan mentioned the pick and roll with Monk and Sabonis. Monk was pushing and attacking the paint. Fox was attacking the paint. And they were creating out of that. Now, De'Aaron did hit some amazing threes that he created on his own, but I felt like when the game started to open up again, when Sacramento went on a run, it was because of the pace. It was because they attacked the paint.
When De'Aaron, it's like you said, De'Aaron showed that, oh, you can't guard me here and you can't guard me here. And doing that alone made the entire defense have to think, a bad defense already have to think twice. And that's when they started losing their guys. And if someone was backdooring or slashing through the paint or whatever it was the movement that just makes them that much better. And I think there's so many times we see this Kings offense and they run multiple actions off of whatever set that they are starting with. And when they run through multiple actions, there's always usually something good that comes out of it.
I don't know why they haven't done it consistently this year. I think there are too many times they're overthinking. And last year they were so good with quick decisions and moving the ball. Sometimes there's a hesitation out there. There's overthinking. I don't know what is happening, but they just got to go out there and play. One great example, you mentioned the Duarte corner three that he had that was big for Sacramento to extend the lead in the fourth quarter. Why was that created? Malik Monk didn't actually get a paint touch there, but it was the threat of a paint touch that got it. He kind of pushed a little bit, right? And it got Trae Young, who was supposed to be guarding Duarte, to hesitate a little bit. He brought him back in because he's worried about Sabonis rolling to the basket. Monk made the right decision, fired it to the corner. Duarte hits an open three. It was a late contest by Trae Young, but it was all started by the threat of attacking the paint. You've got a lot of guys. You got two guys, rather, in Sacramento with Fox and Monk that could put so much pressure on a defense by getting in there or at least having the threat of getting the paint touch and then a big and Sabonis. You have to do that on a consistent basis.
A threat and a quick decision.
Yes.
A quick decision. I mean, the quicker the decision, and Malik Monk, that's what makes him such a fantastic playmaker, is that he will make a quick decision. And it's each year it's just grown. And I think there was times where like, is it going to be chaotic? And then you saw last year, there was discipline, there was accountability involved. And then this year it has just developed into something even more special.
Wow. There's a lot of people hanging out with us here on a Friday night. We appreciate everyone being with us. Make sure if you have not yet, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. And shout out to the people who are donating, including Open Mike, who donated $10 super chat saying, doggy fun, get well soon. Okay, you guys don't have to do that. Sato says, Sato donated $10 saying, keep your shoes and socks on, Morgan. And then Leezy is a member for 19 consecutive months. Appreciate everyone's support in the live chat, chatting away. You guys are the best.
Only $10. I could probably get 100 for the foot.
So stupid. I want to get to a couple of people in the chat. A Kings fan sneak bringing up, he remembers a Duarte play. I remember that play. That was really nice. Josh says, attack Trae Young every chance you have. He's literally the worst defender last year, and he's not much better this year. Yeah, and I felt like they did a much better job of that. They were trying to attack him more. And in addition to that, I thought Duarte was like, I'm going to bump you. You know, Davion the same way. I'm going to bump you. I'm going to front you. You're not going to get anything easy. And then Trae, I thought late in the game, was trying to play a little too much hero ball. He had Keegan Murray on him, and I thought he had success with Keegan Murray on him when he was a threat to drive.
Yeah.
We keep talking about driving and the importance of it. Instead, he'd, have a couple of dribbles and launch a 45-foot three.
Dude,
I'm exaggerating, but
when
and I know he can make it, but
when he was going in, though, it was scary. I was like, why are you still driving and getting those floaters?
He's so good at being able to like get a little contact and throw something up and make it. And you're like, God, I mean, that happened a couple of times in this game tonight, and I thought he settled big time. But Sacramento deserves a lot of credit for how they played in the second half. Talking about that fourth quarter. So third quarter, at the 7:20 mark, Huerter heads to the locker room, and I was bummed for him at that point. One, you don't want to see anybody get hurt. I felt like he came out in the third quarter playing much better than he did in that first end. It was a disaster defensively in the first quarter with him out there. In the third quarter, he came out playing some much better defense. He had a mid-range shot. I felt like, he was starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm, and then he left with a hand injury. We don't know the status at this point. The Kings definitely had some weird moments in this game with turnovers, Morgan.
Oh, my God.
Lyles had a couple of tonight that I'm like,
Monk too.
Monk, yes, Monk for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Lyles had one where he's pushing in transition and he decides to throw the ball behind him to
Yeah.
Malik Monk.
And it's so
Turnover.
funny. It's funny because I was just talking about how Malik Monk is so much more under control. But it's like you said, it was weird. They were weird. They weren't like his quick decisions and playmaking ability is been so crisp and consistent. And for him to have some of those weird turnovers, Trey Lyle, oh my God, that one, it was so annoying. But I'm so glad that they didn't allow that to be like, that's going to deflate us. That's who we are tonight.
The turnovers, like the fact that they had 12, it felt like they had 20 in this game. And I think it's because the Hawks really did a good job capitalizing off them. They had 17 points off the Kings, 12 turnovers. Malik Monk actually had 6 turnovers in this game.
Six. Yeah, I remember
6 of the
few
Kings,
of them.
12. He did a lot of good things out there too. Anyway, the Kings had, I believe, 4 turnovers after the 4:44 mark of the third quarter. Like just brutal in the third quarter. But they were able to close well that time, right? They were able to get it going. They end up closing, and it's 91-86. Fox had 13 points in the quarter, and Sacramento outscored the Hawks 33-20. And you're going, all right, they're back in it.
Uh-huh.
Kind of a sloppy start, but then they pushed, played some good defense. They were active, and it's 91-86 entering the fourth quarter. Kings end up coming out of the fourth strong. It's 94-91 after a Trey Lyles bucket. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And then it's a mess again.
Yeah.
After cutting it to 3, it's 102-91 after an 8-0 run.
Dude, after that, I was like,
I thought it was done at that moment.
But think about how this game, you know how we always go, oh, what a roller coaster. This was a roller coaster that would make you throw up. Like you're going up and down, up and down. And sometimes that's fun to people. It would be like being on Tower of Terror
No.
for far too long.
No.
Whoa, oh my God, we can't stop it.
That's way too smooth. You know what it's like? It's like going to the state fair and being on one of those roller coasters where you know they're not safe.
That's deadly.
They're like moving you around. You're coming back with like a neck sprain. Your back's hurting. You got throw up everywhere. That's how painful. It wasn't just a stomach ache today. It was a county fair roller coaster.
No, you
shouldn't go on.
No, the reason why I disagree with your analogy
Is because it ended well?
Well, because it definitely ended well, and it ended well enough for us to sit here and not just talk about that was an ugly win. You know, we're not coming in here going, oh my God, thank God. We're coming in here understanding, obviously it's hard to win in the NBA, all these things, blah, blah. Our expectations for this team are high, so they should do this, this, and this. There's going to be runs. And if you are going to be the one that comes on top of these runs that happen in these games, I mean, go back to the Boston Celtics taking on the Detroit Pistons. It had to go to overtime. It's going to happen. Now, the better team won. The Boston Celtics ended up winning in overtime. But my point is, it's like, if you go around the NBA, this stuff happens. It's who comes out on top, and the Kings did that, and that's where I'm like, there's no throw up or, weird funnel cake throw up and neck sores from some carnival freaking roller coaster. It was Tower of Terror for too long.
Okay. That's
Guardians
fair. Maybe
of
it's
the
just this
Galaxy, whatever.
30-game season I feel like has been just all over the place.
Well, that for sure has been
my God.
a little bit of throw up.
There were some wild moments, too, during that stretch when it's 102-91. Fox had an offensive foul. Chris Huerter had a drive where he looked like – it reminded me of a video game when you're not good at video games and you're playing a basketball game and you accidentally drive almost falling out of bounds and then you just throw it back. That's what happened, and then it was a turnover. Then Davion had a shot that was no one was with him. He forced a tough look, no good. But they battled back again. Fox, of course, hitting threes left and right, hits his 7th three, then gets his 8th to give the Kings a 106-105 lead. Anyway, Trae Young eventually has an and one to make it 110-108. The Hawks don't score again. How about this stretch, Morgan? The final 4:45 of this game. Final 4:45 after Trae Young had that and one to give the Hawks the lead 110-108. The Hawks went 0 for 8. Did not score any points. Sacramento scored 9 points, ending on a 9-0 run.
And I remember some of those missed baskets by the Hawks. And every time I'm like, no. And
they had some good looks, but I thought Sacramento's effort was so much better defensively
It
in the
was.
second half. And the numbers back it up. I mentioned the first half, they gave up 71 points. Second half, they outscored the Hawks 64-39. The 39 points they allowed, that's a season low allowed in a half for Sacramento.
Let's go.
Atlanta was 13 of 45 in the second half, 29%. They were 5 of 23 from 3, and they had 11 turnovers. DeJounte Murray, who was unbelievably efficient in the first half, he was 6 of 10 with 16 points. In the second half, Murray had 2 points, 1 of 10 shooting. So Sacramento does enough. They get to win tonight, 117-110. So we recapped a lot there. That was kind of a
We
fun
really
journey.
did, but because it was that much of a story.
Yeah.
It was a journey. It was up and down and all of the things, and it's great. Again, I felt like the main story being the bench, the different rotation, and I'm not sitting here tonight going, "Oh yeah, this is going to be the rotation going forward." I feel like you're still going to see Keon in the mix. But Alex Len is the answer. And I think as soon as the beginning of the
For the
season.
backup big spot.
Yes. Beginning of the season, when JaVale McGee was at first the first guy, the backup big, and then Mike Brown made the adjustment of putting Alex Len in first, the flow was different. Things started going differently. Alex Len gets hurt. JaVale McGee is the backup big. And JaVale McGee, he is what he is. And I think I loved what I saw from him at training camp, being vocal, being the new guy. And like, I think there's a lot of things that he can add, but also you can't expect too much from him.
No,
you just can't.
No, and if he's out there making mistakes, you can't play him.
That's
all.
my-
And
that's
you
my
have an
point.
option. If Alex Len's going to go out there and he's going to be stable and he's going to go out there and just protect the rim,
Yes.
play the right way,
Yes.
he's the guy that's going to be the backup for sure for Sacramento.
Yeah.
We definitely need to talk about the rotations. A couple of numbers from tonight in the win, 117-110. De'Aaron Fox, 31 points. He had 8 assists. He was 10 of 20 shooting, 8 of 16 from 3. The 8 threes is a career high. Sacramento just got a career high from De'Aaron Fox with his 7th. It was 7 made threes in a game. He, of course, breaks out like the next game, 8 of 16 from downtown. He had 8 assists, 6 rebounds. He also had 4 steals in this game and played 40 minutes for the Sacramento Kings. The 3-point shooting with De'Aaron, I got to be honest, I'm still just not 100% confident with it. And I know I think it's
I
because...
just want to put my finger on your mouth and go, shh.
Why?
Trust it. Trust it.
No, I'm just being honest with you.
He's-
And okay, here's my biggest thing, okay? You could say you don't trust it. Like, I'm like, I'm still not. I trust it more and more, obviously, because of what he's doing. He's shooting 40% from 3 this year.
Yeah.
He took 16 tonight.
Trust it.
And it looks great, right? It's not like, hey, he's having a nice 5-game run here. He's having a 7-game run here. This guy
30 games.
is taking
29.
a lot of threes, and he's making a lot of threes.
Yep.
Is it going to continue the whole season? I don't know. I think my biggest thing with him, and maybe this is me being naive or old school. I don't know.
I can't wait to push back on this.
I don't want him to lose sight of
He won't.
attacking
He won't.
and getting some mid-range shots. And his first shot tonight was a mid-range shot off the glass, off the window, which was great. 16 of his 20 attempts tonight were from 3. And I don't love that balance, but it's hard to deny the results.
You gotta love it from a 40% 3-point shooter. And if that keeps going up, you better change your mind. You better just shift your mindset. And I know you would, but my point is, I think there's so many people who want to look at it this way, where he's going, birds to all of you. I am this effing nice. I can shoot this ball. Trust my form. Trust my mechanics. Trust my decision making. Now, I know for some of us, we're like, well, why would you shoot that far away shot when your other shot's so efficient and beautiful inside the paint and no one can stop it? Because he is just trying to add that range to his game and allow it to happen, especially at this age, allow it to happen. Because you look at someone as... I mean, this is not the greatest example, but LeBron James, okay? He's someone where he was so explosive throughout his entire career, could get to the basket, downhill, didn't matter if it was in transition or not, he's going. And as he got older, I kept saying to you, and everyone else has talked about this, he needed to keep making sure his shot was getting better and better because he's going to have to rely on that as he gets older. He's not going to be as explosive. And like, you still see him dominating, like, but LeBron James is a different human in a different body. That's not going to be the same case for everyone. And I think it's important for the longevity of De'Aaron Fox's career in his game that he keeps not only experimenting, dominating that part too.
Yeah, I think we've all wanted him to show consistency from three his entire career. You know, before this year, his best three-point shooting year was year number 2 in the NBA, where he shot 37%. He's taken 2.9 attempts per game that year, so it's not a lot. It's just wild to see the jump this year. And it's not like, oh, just the jump in percentage. It's the jump in attempts. Last year, Morgan, he took 5 per game.
Okay.
He is taking 8.9 three-pointers a game. I mean, that's a dramatic jump for him this year. And now he's shooting 40.4% after tonight. That, I think we need to take a second and really focus on that. Not a lot of players are able to, he's an elite company. This isn't like, oh, De'Aaron's shooting it well for, Fox. It's like, no, this guy is taking high volume from 3 and efficient from 3.
Yep.
Not many players are taking 8 a game and shooting at a 40% clip. This is pretty crazy territory he is in right now. And all I'm saying is it's taken me a second to adjust to this, but he's scoring 30 all the time. I think the perfect example was the third quarter tonight where I felt like he put more pressure on the paint. And it's not just about, I just keep putting the pressure on the paint. Have that balance.
He will discover what that balance needs to be, but he also needs to keep saying F everyone, and I know what I'm doing.
It's insane. Morgan, this leap is insane.
It is, but it happens. I mean, think about now again, another example of someone who took that leap. It was Julius Randle with the Knicks when he took that leap from
that
beyond the arc. That
all of a sudden,
1 year.
yeah.
All of a sudden, and he did that.
That's fair.
But the difference is that we are seeing De'Aaron Fox from last year and this year keep showing like consistent season growth, right? I mean, and we're 30 games into this season so far. If you see this continue, it's believe it. Believe what he's become. But also believe what he's become, not only because he puts in the work, but because he is such a threat and unstoppable when he does go inside, that it has allowed him to have exactly the amount of space that he wants from wherever he wants beyond the arc.
It's insane. I actually was going to pull up the
love
3-point attempts. Okay, so Steph Curry's taking 11.4 3-point attempts per game. That's 41%. I know we did this exercise the other day, I believe, but I'm looking at the guys who are shooting like 40+%. Okay, Anthony Simons shooting 40% from 3. He's taking 9.5 a game, but that's 11 games. Okay, Trae Young, he's under 40. Tim Hardaway's 36. I'm looking at guys taking about 9 where Fox is. Okay. De'Aaron Fox, 8.9 attempts, 40.4%. Who are some other guys? Tyrese Halliburton's taking around the same amount of threes per game as Fox.
40.
He's shooting 42.3%. So, like, my point is that's the type of category we're talking about with Fox. We're going, oh, he's in the Steph category this year shooting, the Tyrese Halliburton category for shooting. Someone like Jason Tatum's taking about the same amount of threes per game this year. He's shooting 34%. Klay Thompson shooting 38% on those attempts. Markkanen's shooting 38%. Those aren't bad numbers. I'm not diminishing those at all. Paul George taking 8.2. He's shooting 40%. De'Aaron is taking a lot of threes, and he is so efficient this year. It is one of the more crazy developmental stories of the season. He worked on it all off season, and it's here. All I'm saying is it's taken me a second to adjust to this.
And the other thing I will say, like, obviously teams, defenses, they're going to figure it out.
Which is great. Put pressure on him, and he's going to get by you, and he's going to get into the mid-range.
Exactly.
I dare you.
Exactly, because he has so much to his game. Now, the only thing I would say about the team as a whole, when your star player that is so dominant about getting into the paint, creating, doing whatever in the paint, you don't want the entire team to just follow his lead with whatever it is. Oh, De'Aaron's shooting from the outside?
Yeah.
We're going to keep shooting from the outside. It's like, no. If he's shooting a lot of threes from the outside, make sure that you're picking up the slack and you're the ones that are driving it in and getting those paint touches, because you got to make sure you're still making the defense work enough, whether you're De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, I don't care if you're Kevin Huerter, like make sure that you are still getting in there and not just settling.
It's crazy. I mean, it's such a jump for him, and it's fun to see a guy develop a part of his game that's been the weakness.
Yes.
And
yes.
And even if those numbers drop from 40%, okay.
Everyone,
if he's shooting 37% this year, that's incredible for a guy who's been around 32-ish.
How many questions is it always for De'Aaron Fox every single year? But can he shoot? But can he win? But can he do this? But can he get this? And it's like, he's national media. He's doing all these
Maury,
things.
I said this a few weeks back, and you laughed at me.
What?
He's taking some Steph shots. I joked about in pregame the other day. I said, sometimes you look at
Dude,
Fox, you gotta wipe it off.
NBC has so many Warriors freaking
I know. They're giving me
fans,
shit about it.
and they're like, Steph, no. And it's like, no, it's not. You're not comparing to one of the greatest shooters of all time. You are just literally talking about like the fundamentals of how
It's how he's
the shot
getting-
is. Yes,
It's a creation out of it. It's not like he's just a catch and shoot guy. Like,
My
no,
people.
it's like step backs. I mean, he had one on, I think, Patty Mills tonight. I was like, ooh, a sidestep one on Sadiq Bey. I'm like, stop it,
and it's
De'Aaron.
so different than
Yeah.
like how you see people defending Luka, because people are like, he's not going to be explosive and get by me.
Yeah.
So I got to get a hand in his face. But what Luka does so well is still create that space and elevate over people because of his size.
You can tell teams still don't buy it though, with the way they
Love
defend
it.
it. It's
I
like
love
they're
it.
they're giving Fox that space, and I think they're betting on, hey, like at some point, like,
Well,
if we're gonna pick our poison here, we know he's
Yes.
elite at this. We don't totally know he's elite at the 3-point shooting yet.
And I know that we keep saying that he's elite at driving in. He's becoming better and better. I mean, a real threat from three. I really do hope that he continues to keep making his mid-range game just that much better.
Yep.
Because we saw how dominant it could be last year, and I just don't want that to go away either. And I love that. That's what I'm saying. Can we just make him the most perfect player of all time? Like, asking so much.
He's 15 of 30, I believe. 15 of 31 from three the last two games.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. What else do we need to talk about tonight, Morgan Reagan?
Well, I know we mentioned Kevin Huerter. We didn't really mention. I think it's fair to mention Barnes and Huerter combined
Look,
and just what we're getting.
this has been a common theme this year.
I know.
And I don't know how much more to say about it. You know, I was on pregame today with you and Matt Barnes, and I was talking about Kevin Huerter. I'm like, hey, if I'm the Kings, I run some stuff for him early, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And you know, he's a confidence guy. You know, I look at Kevin Huerter's career and I go, he's got a track record of being like a 40% 3-point shooter. He can score. He does some nice things out there. He has not had a month like this in his NBA career. You have to go back to his rookie season in Atlanta, where he's had a month like this. And of course, tonight he leaves the game with a hand injury. We don't know the status of that. I have no idea what's going on with that, so we'll find out. But yeah, I mean, just defensively, just a mess. And you know, maybe part of it is like you shouldn't have him on DeJounte Murray. I think it's going to be interesting to see where Mike Brown goes from here, because now we have a 30-game sample size. And look, the Kings are 18-12 after 30 games.
Mm-hmm.
18-12, and how many times have we spent time on night chats going, what is going on with this team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so they're 18-12 with plenty of room to grow and get better. They have not played their best basketball this year. The losses have been bad. They've been ugly games. They lose by an average of 15.9 points per game this year. It's not good. But they're 18-12. They're 6 games above 500. They've dealt with some injuries, and Kevin Huerter has been really a non-factor this year. I'm curious long-term if Mike Brown elects to shake up the starting lineup a little bit. You know, it seems like even tonight he started that starting lineup he had to begin that we're so used to with Fox, Huerter, Sabonis, Barnes, and Murray. Well, he pulled Huerter and Barnes out at 6:55. Didn't play him the entire first half, but he did start the second half with them.
Yeah. And I think sometimes that's for, what is that called when you're consistent? Like routine. It's routine, keeping your guys, having Malik Monk coming off the bench, all those things. And I know a lot tonight, our producer wanted to talk a lot about, hey, like a lot of people online are questioning, do you put Malik Monk in there? And I go, I don't think it's you put Malik Monk in the starting lineup, even though sure, he could absolutely be a starter, but I think what he provides off the bench is so very important to any team in this league. But I think that's where you're really looking at, okay, you need upgrades, you need change. And it's that because you're trying to make it to the next level this season, where if it was last season, we would still be in happy land. Like, oh shit, this is looking good. And now already when expectations change, you go, but what tweaks can you make? And I'm not acting like that's because I think a lot of people are like, trade Huerter, trade HB. I'm not acting like it's necessarily that, but I'm just saying, can you make upgrades so maybe.
Well, those are clear, the two weaknesses. And
that's what I'm saying.
Huerter, I still believe Huerter is a better player than how he's playing. But if I'm the
Agreed.
Kings, obviously they're going to look to upgrade the roster at some point. But let's just say you're like, we need to get Kevin Huerter playing better.
Yeah.
Like, he can't be averaging 6 points a game in December or whatever it is. I think it's maybe 7 points a game, okay? Like, this guy was pivotal for you last year. And I don't expect him to average 16 a game this year because, look, Fox is getting more shots. He's scoring 30-plus a night, right? Sabonis is still scoring a lot, and Keegan's getting more shots. So it's not about, to me, like the averages. It's about being impactful out there.
And he's not doing that in his role.
No. And so how do you get the most out of him? That's the biggest question, I think, for this coaching staff is like, okay, it hasn't worked. So do we shift him to the bench? Because he can be an important part of this team. I'm more concerned about Harrison Barnes than anything. I mean, Harrison Barnes tonight, he played under 12 minutes, 2 points. I mean, the Kings are in a spot where they're 18-12, and it's fair to say 2 of their starters have not been good this year. Like, there have been stretches where they're not playing. I mean, if Kevin Huerter is healthy, we don't know how many minutes he ends up playing. He ends up playing 9 minutes tonight, 9 minutes and 45 seconds. But Barnes played under 12 minutes tonight. And so you just re-signed him. You gave him, 17, 18 million a year here. And it just doesn't look good at this point for him.
Yeah. I mean, we're also not. The only reason why I mention this because I think that it is so very important to teams that are trying to grow and develop and take it to another level. Harrison Barnes and what he adds as like a veteran, a pro, all those things, so valuable. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be in the starting lineup.
Oh, and that's what I agree.
And that's just where that's where I think when people go like change, trade him, fire him, do what you can do. It's like, oh, it is calm down just 2 notches, you know?
And look, there's going to be so many conversations the next month and a half at the trade deadline coming up, February 9th? All right, so it's already happening nonstop with Kings fans. You read Kings Reddit. You're in our Discord. Yes. It's nonstop trade proposals. Kings win 7 minutes later. It's like, hey, what about this trade? All right, what do you think about this guy? It's nonstop. But at the moment, if you're Mike Brown, just dealing with what's in front of you, and this is the team, right? This is the squad. How do you get the most out of Harrison Barnes? How do you get the most out of Kevin Huerter? Like they can't be non-factors for you, right? It's not that they're going out there and other guys are playing better. It's like, no, there are too many games where you go, what? 2 points, no rebounds, no assists. Kevin Huerter,
12 minutes even. I mean, you're just looking at that, you go, why are you pulled?
So, and if you change your starting lineup, is it that big of? Here's how I look at it. You've been starting this group for a while, right? You have the sample size of last year, the playoffs, whatever. He's not afraid to adjust it in the middle of a game. Well, why not just start the game with a different lineup and just and stagger it? Like, I don't know, put Trey Lyles in there.
Yeah.
and just see what it looks like. Even Malik Monk, I know what you're saying, like you like Monk off the bench, but you could stagger it. You could stagger the lineup a little bit.
You know, and whenever someone throws at me, they're like, I don't hear this all the time, but I do always hear Sabonis, make him a 4, power forward, make him a 4. Yeah. And like go big, put Alex Len in there.
I've tried to be open-minded to that. I just think times
very open-minded to it.
Sabonis works really hard out there defensively, and I think he moves pretty well. But man, some of these 4s out there are super athletic, and that's what I think about. But I'm open-minded. I am really open-minded to just seeing different looks because they just haven't found that stability. And so, like on a night like tonight, it's great that the bench stepped up.
Sure,
it's great that Trey Lyles and Malik Monk came in and had an impact, and Duarte and Mitchell. But you also don't want to be faced with a situation where you don't feel comfortable playing 2 of your starters more than like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
You know, someone just said, James said, well, why don't you play Keegan at the shooting guard? Like put him at the 2.
Sure.
And then you get your Trey Lyles, I guess, in there at that point.
So what would you'd be what? Fox, Keegan,
Duarte,
and Lyles and Sabonis? I don't know.
It all sounds It sounds so interesting trying to mix up this starting lineup after it's been so consistent for so long. Yeah. And it's more too because I look at these bench players and I go, they are, again, very important bench role players. However, I mean, I think so many people look at like, hey, if you're coming off the bench, that's what you are in the league. And it's like, I mean, there's only 5 starting spots, and sometimes really you're coming off the bench as like a starter of the bench crew. I don't know. That's how I see it, but
Jeremy in the chat says all of the media should be drilling Coach Brown and Monty McNair about the re-signing of Barnes. He's unplayable and untradeable, and we all seen the downward spiral coming.
Wait, but were you saying that after the opening night game when he had dropped 33 points?
Jeremy probably was, and that's fine. A lot of people have been talking about that with Barnes. I mean, look, I think how I look at it, oh my God, a 3-year deal, that doesn't look great right now. But now it's down to 2.5 years. I don't think it's unmovable, and I think the Kings looked around the free agent market and were like, okay, Kuzma doesn't really want to come here at this point. Okay. I don't think they love the options out there. So they went with the safe pick. And it was like, we know what HB's about. We know he's going to come in, be a great locker room guy. And I think they believed he still had something to give. And, you know, so far this year, it's been really, really inconsistent for him. He had a stretch of games just a little bit ago where he had it going, which, I mean, he has double figure scoring.
Yeah, like 3 games. Yeah, I guess my point is because, like, I'm fine with the criticism and people feeling that way about different players being signed. But sometimes I feel like we lose sight of when those good moments happen as a role play, as a starting role player, I guess you could say, right? Like he's a starter, but his role is to be solid. It isn't to be like a 33-point game per game dude.
Jeremy also says $20 million for a locker room guy. Well, I don't think he's actually at $20 million one, but you know, look, Indiana was in on him too. They were really interested in him, and I think when you look at the other options out there, you're like, I don't know. I mean, also, $18 million in today's game is like nothing anymore, especially with a new TV deal. But I hear you.
That $18 million a year, he played 82 games. He played all the games. And it's like, you think about that even again, like if I am someone at just trying to get a promotion or trying to get a raise from my boss. And I'm like, hey, dipshit over there came in half the year and used all of their PTO and all that shit. And I've been here every single day making this company better. Yeah, I better get my payment. Like I'm solid. I'm here. I'm consistent. Now, what he's showing this season is like, all right, like the consistency hasn't been there throughout with his numbers, but I felt like he earned that contract, I guess is my point.
I gotta be honest with you, the biggest thing with him for me is really just the rebounding. I don't care about the scoring. Like people are, his scoring's dropped. Yes, it's going to drop. Keegan has more of a role. Fox having the ball more. Sabonis is going to get his. Other guy, Malik Monk, you want his. So I'm fine with it. I just need Harrison to go out there.
Do the other things.
And do the dirty work.
Yep.
I need to make sure he's going out there. Harrison, can you get me 6-7 rebounds a night in your minutes? Can you play some competitive defense? He's still shooting pretty efficiently this year. Harrison Barnes, he's shooting 39% from three, 4.4 attempts a game. He's shooting 48% from the field. I'm not acting like he is the solution at that spot at all. I think ideally, on a really, really good team, that position is better. But I think Barnes can still help teams in the league. I just think his role would be different on a really, really good team.
Agreed. No, I think that.
And the Kings aren't there yet.
I don't know. I think it's just so weird when we jump to just such an irrational thought. Now, again, I think it's fair, especially like as a fan of a team, to feel hatred and love and the highs and the lows and want change and all these different things. I think that is absolutely fair, but I think it's also like you have to reel it back in and look at everything. Everything.
Brad in the chat says, if Fox's 3-point shooting stays at 40% for the season, oh my God, that'd be nice. Does adding a non-cheater like Kessler to the lineup make sense? I feel like there are some new lineups to see with this type of breakout from Fox. I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, but it also, like, Kessler does need to be more of a threat from three.
Yep.
I think we have seen enough examples of time where when you have guys out there that are not a threat, what that does for the spacing, Fox's quality of looks will not be the same.
That's it.
If the spacing isn't good.
Just throw a blitz on Fox, and then like toss it to Kessler for an open three. And or even if he drives it in, if the defense is a better defense, they're rotating the right way and recovering.
I mean, like tonight, when you're closing the final 7 minutes of the game with Fox, Monk, two guys who can hit threes and be threats driving. Duarte, who has not hit the three consistently this year, but so he's like the one kind of non-shooter, but is capable, right? Keegan, we know he can hit the three. He's capable of being a really good 3-point. So you have three shooters out there. Then you have a big in Sabonis who could pass, who's tough inside. Like, that's a lot of space to operate, and who draws a lot of attention. So that's a pretty tough lineup to guard. But yeah, I mean, look, big picture wise, as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline, we're going to have more of these conversations about, all right, what are some of the pieces that the Kings can try to go out there and get that can elevate their defense so they're more consistent. So did a good job tonight. Carlin just farted, and it smells so bad in here.
He's done this twice. And it's like,
woo,
bro. Oh, did you see my tweet?
About the Kings should play better for Carlin or something?
I think he's going to walk again just because of that.
Because of how they responded.
Yep. Thank you.
So, yeah, the Kings are 18-12, Morgan. I want to ask you just a couple more questions about the rotation in a second. We have to mention, of course, we do have awesome sponsors who make this podcast possible. Shout out to our friends who are at Northwest Exteriors and northwestexteriors.com, Morgan. If you have an issue with your house and you go, oh my God, I have these old ass windows. What do I do? Why should people hit up Northwest Exteriors?
Well, you might not even realize it is your windows. That's the thing. You might be like, oh, maybe it's the insulation. Maybe it's something else. No. Just reach out to Northwest Exteriors and check out your windows. And I'm being completely honest about this. I wish I had done this years and years ago. Didn't know it was going to make such a difference already on the energy bill, the aesthetics of the home. Also, it's just super easy working with them.
Yeah, and their showrooms in Rancho Cordova, everything's local with them. Like, they don't subcontract out to some place in Southern California. They have great people, and your house is going to look better. You're going to save money. It's a no-brainer, so trust the experts at Northwest. You know why? Because I say it. They're simply the best. Trust Northwest. You like that?
You're really trying to hit it. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The best.
Also, we want to mention that if you're looking for a book to read, you're like, you know what? 2024 is here, and I want to read more books. We all do this, right? I want to read a book a month. I want to read 17 books this year.
Oh, my God.
Well, I've got a book for you. Check out Morgan's mom. She is the one and only T.R. Reagan. She's a New York Times bestselling author, and she writes thrillers that are based in Sacramento. She was getting turned down for years, right? Like it was like no one wanted anything to do with her work. But she self-published, and then what happened? She hit it big on Amazon. So you should check out her books. Them out today. You can get them anywhere you get books.
Anywhere you
Amazon.
get books, Amazon.com. I
Yep.
mean, and seriously, if you want to give them as a gift, whatever it is. I know we've had other people reach out lately to me saying that they're starting to read some T.R. Reagan books. So congratulations. Sleep with one eye open.
Yeah, check them out today. Morgan Reagan, let's get to a couple more people in the chat. And I have my
Yes.
question I have to get to. Scout says, can you do the dog voice? Is that you're talking about Duke?
Simply the best.
Simply the best. Trust Northwest.
Not bad.
It's okay. Man, the chat is fired up tonight. People are just talking about a variety of things. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. They also participate in our poll question tonight. Morgan, who is your player of the game? Is it Fox, a career high 8 threes? Is it Domantas Sabonis, who tonight had 25 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists on 12 of 17 shooting, 1 of 4 from the line? Is it Trey Lyles? We mentioned Trey with a big outing off the bench with 19 points. Or is it Malik Monk, who had 15 points, 8 dimes, and some really nice passes late in the game, along with 4 rebounds?
I know we can give it
We ran out of room, too.
to De'Aaron Fox every single game.
Yeah.
But I'm going to, I want to say, the bench or, Trey Lyles.
Man, that would have been nice to just put the bench on there.
Yeah.
That probably would have been the smart thing. Well, 73% of the audience votes for De'Aaron Fox.
Makes sense. I mean, how are you not going to, every single game?
But who is a rock and soul player of the game?
Oh, the bench?
Does it match?
Does it?
Oh. That was a different game. That was a different game. It is not ants.
That's such bullshit, too. Hey!
Trey Lyles. I decided to give it to Trey Lyles tonight.
I like that.
19 points. He had 6 rebounds, 7 of 12 shooting. He was 4 of 9 from downtown. And I felt like he gave the Kings some much needed energy tonight, Morgan.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, just the right mentality throughout this entire game and just understanding what he needed to contribute. It's not only his scoring 4 of 9 from 3-point land, like you said,
Yeah.
but we talked about it. Those 6 rebounds, huge rebounds, especially in a game like this where they weren't rebounding the ball well.
Well, he's a rock and soul player of the game. Good to see him bounce back after a slow start this season. Go to Rock and Soul Diner. They're just 6 blocks from Golden One Center. Okay, you're talking about a local place that you can get breakfast all day long. And if you go there, you can get hooked up with some deals just for being a Deuce and Mo podcast listener. How about 25% off your entire bill from 4 to 6:30 with home games when there's a home game and you show your ticket? Or for all home and away games, 50% off appetizers and cocktails through the game if you watch the game. That's at Rock and Soul Diner, 10th and S in Sacramento.
I think I'm going to go on New Year's Eve because I'm not working the Grizzlies Kings game. And I think I'm actually just going to get it to go and just order a whole bunch of waffles and biscuits and gravy.
That's a good move, I
Thank
think.
you.
That's a good move. We will be live for that New Year's Eve, too, by the way. We're going to be live after Kings-Grizzlies. We'll preview that game in a bit. Okay, so, Morgan, I felt like we spent a lot of time diving deep on De'Aaron Fox, talking about a little Huerter Barnes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still maintain I think Harrison Barnes can be a productive player for this team, and maybe it's just like, hey, maybe you bring him off the bench and see what he can do. You know what I do like about him coming off the bench too is like he's a guy that can get a bucket. Maybe when he's playing with this group, he's not getting the same amount of looks as he has in the past throughout his career. He can still score, and we've seen the flashes of him scoring, maybe going up against some bench units where he can get some more offensive touches, get to the free throw line. It could help this team a little bit, where someone like Trey Lyles is good with just kind of fitting in to a lineup.
Here's my question to you.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing Harrison Barnes does when he's out there?
I think defensively,
I knew you were going to say that.
That's
Okay.
the biggest thing with him.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
agreed.
With Huerter to me right now is just his confidence is just gone. He is out of whack right now, and he's trying to fight through it. I thought again, third quarter tonight before he went out, there were some flashes. There you go. That's what I want to see. Harrison, I don't think it's a confidence issue at all. I think Harrison's just getting less opportunity, fewer shots, and I think defensively, it's a challenge for him.
Well, and that's it. I go, if you could be solid out there, you're not turning the ball over, but you can be a threat. Because that's the thing about Harrison. He can be a strong guy out there and go to the basket. And like at times he's not getting those opportunities. At times I want him to create those opportunities for himself. But I feel like he's such a selfless player at times that he's like, I'm not going to do too much. And then on the defensive end, when you're not doing enough, it goes, okay, well, you're going to get 12 minutes because we need to see more out of you on one end of the floor or the other. And that's what sucks sometimes because I go, God, he's so strong. But sometimes when you see him move laterally and his arms are down, I'm like, you're smarter than that. You're better than that. Like, we need to see more from you. And then on the offensive end, I just would like to see him be more aggressive. And I think the opportunities could be there. I don't think he'd be forcing anything also, if he took a few more looks.
I think there's just guys he can't defend.
Sure.
He's just I don't think he moves well laterally enough for some of these athletic players in the league. It's just tough for him sometimes. But he could still be a productive member of this team. So that's how I look at it.
Agreed.
Also in the chat, Morgan, someone says, Deuce, we love you, but don't try to get out of dropping that song you promised. Let's go, Deuce. Gavano says Deuce bars. I think some people are we did a preview to last night's Hawks-Kings game, and I joked about if the Kings win, I'm going to have Ludacris come in here and do my Welcome to Sacramento song that I wrote when I was like 13.
Crippled dog in here, but no Luda.
No Luda. I was joking about that at the end of the show.
Don't say it.
Was it clearly a joke?
I mean, but like I was joking about getting a tattoo if the Kings didn't make the playoffs.
Don't even compare this to the same thing. Are you kidding me?
What do you? Yeah, no. What do you mean? Like you say it.
You said it on a TV thing. Yeah, I'll do it. And you made a whole bit of it where I said it in a preview video.
I said it on video. You said yours on video. So it's like the same thing.
God, this is so stupid. I can't believe we're arguing about this.
Do you actually have it?
I don't have the song, but I don't remember the song. Here's the whole setup. I told Morgan at the end of this Kings-Hawks preview that when I was like 12, 13 years old, there's a song called Welcome to Atlanta by Ludacris.
Oh, you were that young?
Yes.
Oh, good. This makes me feel much better.
No,
I was thinking like you were in radio days, and I'm like, God, you were in your 20s and you made this song.
No, this is like when the song came out, and I was like,
barf.
The Kings were a good team, and I wrote a song called Welcome to Sacramento where the Kings play. It was like not even a song, just a verse.
Okay.
Or is it the chorus? I don't know. I don't know music.
13. I just am not. It's not giving me the ick.
Yo.
Are we gonna get flagged?
I mean, it's the instrumental. I don't know.
Okay, just do.
Who cares? Like, do you care that much?
I do.
Oh my God. Yo.
I knew he wouldn't care if I cared.
See,
how many times do you have to say yo?
So here's the thing. You keep interrupting it.
It doesn't start though. Okay, go.
Yes, it does. Sacramento. How we doing? Let's go light the beam. Welcome to Sacramento, baby. I messed it up already.
Yeah.
So here we go. Welcome to Sacramento where the Kings play and they win their games like every day. Big dunks, hit threes, the crowd is roaring and we don't stop till... I don't remember how it went. See?
You got it. That's the one you didn't remember last night either.
Let's try it again. Here we go. Yo. Hey, we got Mo in the house. What's up, Mo?
No.
Come on.
No.
Here we go.
Give me the ick, man.
Let's go. Welcome to Sacramento where the Kings play and they win their games like every day. Big dunks, hit threes, the crowd is roaring and the party don't stop till 8 in the morning. I don't remember how it went. That's all I had.
So you were
it was like one line.
13,
I was 13 years old.
13.
Yeah.
And you didn't make up anything else, just that.
Yes, can we also take a second? I threw this at the end of a preview thing. I was like, hey, was it funny when I was 13 years old? And now you're like, hey, perform, you idiot. Perform it. Don't you have a song? That's all you had? It wasn't supposed to be a thing. You're lucky I'm even doing this.
Someone said you rapped about the beam when you were 13.
No, I threw that in the intro at the beginning. God, I'm sweating now.
He predicted the beam at 13 years old. Pablo says Mo is getting the ick.
I hate all you guys.
Oh my God. Brad says happy you tried. Oh my God.
I hate all you guys, man.
You got tomatoes.
Whatever.
Oh, Stephen Brown says that was absolutely fire, which
shut up,
I think,
Steven.
yep, that means he's definitely lying. Jesse James says you're frightening Carlin.
Run it back.
Oh my God, his legs just went more paralyzed.
You know, that's not funny. Just wait. So now you motivated me, okay? You are talking to the person who wrote "Shut Up and Light the Beam." All right, you're talking to the person that
now he wants to take
performed
credit.
a hit song last year that kind of flies under the radar during last season called "Turn on the Jets" to Benny and the Jets. Remember that?
It flies under
A lot of people don't talk about that one, okay? So you guys have challenged me. I'm going to rewrite this song. We're re-releasing it, and it's going to be way better. And it's going to be, I'm going to make it 5.5 minutes long, you sons of bitches.
Oh God, I will not be a part of it because I can't rap for the life of
Where the
me.
Kings play.
No.
Okay.
No, stop.
Jermaine.
You know what's
baby.
funny?
What?
I started. It's funny that you say that. Ew. Because I started creating when I was depressed at the half. I think it was at the half. Yep, it was at the half. I started making more lyrics to the emo Beamless Night, and I'm not going to sing it because we didn't lose. But it was
save it for like
but for
games
about
from now.
But then it started going into Carlin's legs being paralyzed, and just being super emo and dark. So
That's way too dark.
is it? It's just, I mean, it's life, bro.
Someone in the chat says Deuce unit. Funny.
Wait, but that's not 50, right?
I know, but they're just saying
50.
they're just saying.
50. Get it right.
Other things I wanted to talk about tonight. See if I missed anything. We haven't got to our moment of the night. You guys help us out. We're getting late here. Sharif Jewelers' moment of the night for this game. Kings win 117-110. Fox had 8 threes, a career high. The Kings were down 23, but is there a moment in the game? I think I have one that pops into my mind right now. I'm curious if you have one.
Okay, well,
Same with the chat.
I mean, I think it was what we already talked about, was that block leading to De'Aaron pushing it down the floor to the Malik Monk.
I don't know if it's
Alley-oop
officially
dunk.
a block. It was a contest by Alex Len.
Good defense leading to really fun transition offense.
Guys, I think you're right. It was during kind of a part of the game, right? The Kings were down big.
What was it?
2 minutes to go. You're talking about the play you just mentioned,
the one
Morgan?
I'm mentioning.
Yes.
Okay, when you said you guys are right, I'm like, are they saying something else?
No, a lot of people are mentioning that play.
Oh,
so
okay. Oh my God.
I'm going back in the play-by-play to look at this. So the Malik Monk dunk, it was around 1:58 in the first quarter. It made the game 32-15. But, man, did Monk come in, and that was part of a run by Malik Monk that really sparked the Kings at the end of the first quarter make it a competitive game. Kings were about to get blown out. It was 31-8. Monk comes in, has that dunk. He has a layup, and then he hit a three during that stretch. That was huge for the Sacramento Kings. But that play that Morgan's talking about was nasty. Alex Len with a great contest. Monk finishes an alley-oop from De'Aaron Fox. It was a pretty special play.
I love it. That's our Sharif Jewelers moment of the game.
Shout out Alex Len, man.
I'm telling you, that guy out there, he does a good job. But it's great that he's just back, in that Mike Brown could go to him, and not to say like, oh, so you wouldn't have to go to JaVale. It just feels more like, okay, this is the direction that the team should be going in.
A couple of other suggestions and nominees from people in the chat.
What?
Manny was saying the lob for sure. Jamar says Davion coming in after a month of not being out of the rotation.
Ooh,
that's fair. That's a fair one. Jesse says Mike Brown actually using a challenge well for once in a long time. Winning a challenge. Just for fun, I just put it in the moment jar, but just for fun, can we pull one out? It's been a while. We have a moment from every game.
I love that Deuce does this, and it's like it's only been 2 games later, and he's like, oh, okay, wait, let's do this. Let's remember a memory from 3 weeks ago. I like it.
Let's see what it was.
I think it's sweet. You're just all about memories.
What game do you guys think I pulled out?
Oh my God! And then
We're 30 games in. We're 30 games in, so it's appropriate we pull one moment out to remember.
Game 5.
Okay.
You waiting for everyone else?
Seeing if there's any other guesses to what game I just pulled out.
Let's see.
It's not game 5.
Okay. I love that people keep saying the Duarte 3.
Duarte 3 was really big. I like what Duarte brought tonight. I was really happy for him. The play is game 1 at Utah.
Really?
When the Kings won the season opener. That was the night Harrison Barnes had that big night. Do you have a guess of what moment was on there?
For game 1?
Game 1.
I don't remember at all.
See, this is what I love about this is why we have the moment jar, because Morgan doesn't remember moments that happen in the game.
Would you remember this moment though?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe when you tell me, I'm gonna pull one next, and I'm gonna be like, "Do you remember the moment from this game?"
Deal.
Okay.
Deal. Okay, you pull one next, but okay.
We should spend all of our New Year's Eve show just pulling out every single post. Okay, go. What's from game 1? What's the moment?
Malik Monk dunk on Chris Dunn.
Ah, shit. Okay, that duh.
Look, Monk dunk. A lot of people mentioning that. There you go.
Memory. Okay.
All right, and then, let's see if I remember. I mean, to be fair, I write these down, so
That's true.
But go ahead.
Okay. So
Tell me the date, and I'll tell you that.
12-14, December 14th against OKC.
Oh, that was the in-season tournament game. That was winning without
You're not gonna know.
De'Aaron Fox. Huge. It's a big-time moment. Winning without Fox. Was that not on there?
No.
Winning without De'Aaron?
Mm-mm.
Or wait, was Fox back then?
I don't know.
Shit.
Because it doesn't say it
You
on
know
there.
what? I don't remember, man. This
Thank
is why
you.
we do it. This is why we
See?
have a moment
Keon
jar.
Ellis, 17 points. And then I can't read that handwriting. Is that 6 rebounds?
Wow. Kings win.
Is that 6 rebounds?
Yes.
Really? I wish we
December 14th. That wasn't even that long ago. 128-123 Sacramento. Kings were 14-8. Malik Monk had a block and Keon 3. That was the moment. That was a sweet moment.
Wait.
Keon Ellis, 17.6 rebounds. What?
You guys.
No, that's the wrong OKC game. It's the wrong OKC game.
That's 6 rebounds?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
This is December 14th. This was the most recent OKC game. So there you go. Street Jewelers moment of the game. We do it after every single game. Next up, Morgan Reagan. The Kings play the Grizzlies. Before we get to that game and talk about what Memphis did tonight in LA, reflect on this game for a second. Now, and I know we've reflected a lot. No. Hear me out.
Let's run it back.
Well, we're 30 games in. How are you feeling? Like, does this win make you feel good? Some would say, oh, God, you played like shit and you figured out in the second half, whatever. Like, or are you feeling good? Like, hey, they got a win and they had to fight through adversity. They battled back. Some guys that weren't playing played well and they got a win. Like, where are you at with this win? And then where are you at with this team 30 games in?
Last year, I was totally cool. I mean, okay. I was pretty cool at the trade deadline being like, hey, keep it at what it is. Do what you need to do. And mostly because I was just like believing in the vibe, where it was going, historic offense, continuity, all of the blah, blah, blah. This season, I hate that I really do have just different expectations for this team. And I feel like a lot of teams made tweaks to get better or understand what the Kings have to offer. And I feel like even the Kings have tweaked their style of play because they want to be great on both ends of the floor. And I think it's great that they are working on that, trying that out. But I think it's apparent that they need a tweak.
Yes.
If they want to do something different than what they did last year. And I'm pretty sure that would be the goal. Like, they're not OKC where they're trying to like ride this for a couple of years and see where they can take it from there because they have so many picks or anything. It's they're trying to
I'm with you.
move up each year.
The West is brutal. If you think about
Brutal.
Look at last year. Like, the Kings are in actually a better spot at this point right now than they were at this time last year. Just one game better. They're 18-12. They were 17-13 at this point last year. But it's obviously the losses that we've talked about, blah, blah, blah. But then you look at, like, Minnesota is killing it this year. They're the number 1 seed. They are better than they were last year. OKC, playing team last year. OKC just went to Denver tonight and kicked the shit out of the Nuggets. They're the number 2 seed. You still have the defending champion Nuggets. The Clippers, it's looking pretty good.
James
it's
Harden
better than I
edition.
thought it would
Yep.
do. It's working right now. What's that look like down the road? I don't
Doesn't
know,
matter.
but it's looking great right now.
Yeah.
The Clippers are better. Dallas not sold. Phoenix, they're just getting Beal back tonight. The Lakers are weird. Houston's better. Golden State, who the hell knows? And then Memphis is maybe trending in a better direction now with John Morant, even though they lost tonight. We'll talk about that in a second. My point is the West is just stacked. The two bad teams are San Antonio and Portland. Utah's kind of bad too, but other than that, it's gonna be really tough, and you have to improve the team. We've had a sample size of what this looks like.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the adjustments.
And with the Clippers, I said, well, it doesn't matter. And I'm saying it doesn't matter for next year. It matters. I'm talking about this year. And this year it's trending in the right direction. Like it's working with James Harden. And whether people want to leave and shit the bed and do what they want next year, great, do whatever. But we're talking about the present. We're talking about right now. And then you talk about the Memphis Grizzlies, and they had won 4 straight with Ja Morant. Then they lost one when Ja sat out. And then tonight was Ja back against the Clippers?
Ja Morant was back, but he was definitely not feeling well. At one point, they showed him sprint back to throw up. He still played.
Okay.
It's always interesting to me too, like I mean, if you're throwing up, you don't have to play. It's okay. We don't the
He's
whole like
back,
flu game.
dude.
Everyone who's like trying to play sick, I'm like, you're just gonna get everybody else sick, right?
Yeah,
like,
but who cares?
I don't want Desmond Bane and Marcus Smart to get sick, okay? Because you elect to play tonight and they lost. But I don't know. I just think that's so weird, that dynamic.
I don't.
Yeah, the West is crazy, and it's going to be interesting to see who decides to be aggressive and make moves, and how tough is that? Because we just mentioned all those teams in the West. Well, how many teams are going to be selling? Is Portland selling? Is San Antonio selling off some pieces? Will Utah make some moves? Okay, that's only 3 teams. The rest are trying to add. The rest are trying to, make a push and get better. You don't think the Lakers are going, how can we tinker with our team? The Nuggets going, all right, do we have enough? We're missing Bruce Brown from last year's team. How do we get better? OKC going, do we just kind of see how this plays out? Or do we take a swing at a Markkanen? Do we take a swing at OG or Siakam and really make a push here? Minnesota, there's just so many questions.
There's a lot of questions, but it's apparent that if the Kings want to keep trending in the right direction, they can stay. Here's the other thing. I'm a patient enough person.
It's okay.
Excuse me. That if you have a winning season, I'm cool. I'm cool. If that was your standard every year, I'd be like, okay, we got to have higher standards, make some changes, whatever. If for some reason this year there was a lot of things that ended up staying put, but they made the playoffs, didn't even get past the first round, I wouldn't sit here and be like, disappointing season. I'd be like, okay, that was your year of being flat. You don't get to be flat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because they took a huge leap, made the effing playoffs after 16 years of not made. And I know these standards are probably low to so many sports fans out there, but I'm a very patient sports fan because I just think sometimes we are very irrational about human beings and how they develop together and as individuals.
Yeah. You may not be able to make all the moves you want right away, but yeah, I think.
And other teams might not want to make the moves with you.
I would be highly disappointed, though, if they didn't make a move. Because
you said that last year, though.
Yeah, but I think I understood the rationale a little more last year. All right, and it felt uncomfortable, like you weren't sure they could make the playoffs. I believe this current team, I think they're good enough to make the playoffs in the West.
Same.
But I don't know, but then you're in the dangerous territory, as we just mentioned, with all these teams being better. You want to be in a situation where you're in the play-in and you got to win one game. That shit's scary. You want to be in the top 6.
Yep.
And how you do that is what the weaknesses are. And it's like, all right, how do we tweak it to get better? It doesn't mean like this next move has to be, this has to be the move that elevates you to championship contention. No, the move just needs to improve you. Does it put you in a better position to win a series? Like you don't have this whole notion that it's like, just because Mike Brown said, we want to contend for a championship. Okay, cool. Like every team should have that mindset. I mean, realistically, going into the season, I didn't look at this team and go championship contender, even with
Yeah.
But the thought that Huerter would play well and
Sure.
that Sasha would be more impactful. I mean, Sasha didn't even play tonight. Like, he's not even in the rotation. So I don't know. I'm with you. I have a little more patience with like, all right, like what are some tinkers that you can keep getting better and then go out there and make the big swing to take that step because teams are coming. OKC, I'm sorry, they're only going to get better. Chet's a stud now. SGA was all NBA first team last year. He's really good again this year. Jalen Williams is awesome. Also, side note, makes it even more impressive to me that the Kings beat OKC twice this year.
Yeah.
And Chet has not looked good against the Kings, which is strange.
But the Kings are Chet stoppers, let me tell you.
Yeah, and Jalen Williams hasn't really killed the Kings.
There you go. Oh, look at that. Huh? Also, shout out to Wallace, who is listening from Brazil, and it's almost 4 a.m.
Brazil.
there.
Shout out Wallace in Brazil.
I just said that.
I was emphasizing it.
I know.
I do want to promote this before we look ahead to the Kings-Grizzlies. We are going to be here New Year's Eve. I know you're like, wait, don't you have anything better to do? Well, no. One, we are live after every Kings game. Two, we got Carlin here. His legs aren't working. All right, we're hanging out. We'll be live here on New Year's Eve. So if you don't have plans New Year's Eve, we're going to be live after Kings-Grizzlies, hanging out. We're going to be talking about the game, and we'll hang out for a little longer. We're probably not going to ring in midnight. I don't think that's the plan.
It's an early game.
We'll be here to hang out and sip some champagne.
Yeah. So if you
reflect a bit.
Yeah, we'll reflect a little bit on 2023
What a year.
and the game, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you're alone and you need anything,
Yes.
we'll be here. So
Shout out to Tokyo, by the way. Shout out.
shout out Tokyo.
Someone's watching here.
Love it.
Someone's asking, what is the drunkest you guys have been on a stream before? I don't think I've ever been drunk on a stream. I've been buzzed.
Was that a New Year's that we
Yeah,
were buzzed?
I think we've definitely New Year's Eve. Go back and watch a New Year's Eve. You probably hear us buzzed for sure.
Definitely not drunk, but
No.
buzzed.
Definitely on vitamins before.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to tell the
wouldn't.
difference.
No. Okay, Morgan Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
Kings and Grizzlies coming up. It's interesting. Memphis was in LA tonight, as we mentioned. They lost to the Clippers 117-106. Ja Morant is back, 19 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds in the loss, 7 of 19 shooting. He was 0 of 7 from 3, but he's still kind of battling the bug a little bit, right? He's been really good since coming back, like sensational. So, I mean, he had that game winner in his first game back. And Memphis, who is 10-21 right now, I'm sorry, I don't view them as a 10-21 team with Ja Morant back. And now Marcus Smart is now back. He had 22 points tonight.
Yeah, don't fall for their record. That's not truly who they are.
Yep.
So it's going to be a tough game on New Year's Eve. It's going to be tough. On the road, last game of the road trip, New Year's Eve. All those things factoring in. It's not like they have anywhere to run in Memphis, so that's good. It's not like, oh, we got to go to Magic City or some shit. So no Miami flu, like got to get out and party. It's Memphis.
I was feeling bad for the Kings a little bit because that game tips off 7 p.m. in Memphis. That means they're probably getting on the plane at 11. They're going to be on the plane for New Year's.
Well, if they want to fly into Sacramento with a beam in the sky, they better freaking get the win.
I love it. Yeah, it's a Grizzlies team that's been through it all this year, right? Obviously, with Ja Morant missing the first 25 games, Steven Adams out for the season, Brandon Clark still out. They signed Bismack Biyombo, who's been starting for them. He only played 8 minutes tonight. Did he get hurt? I don't know. I didn't see the game.
Box score watching.
But they lose, and Kawhi Leonard did not play tonight in that game, 117-106. But Kings and Grizzlies, I'm excited to see Fox go head-to-head with Ja Morant. For whatever reason over the years, that's been like a thing. Like, who's better, Ja Morant or De'Aaron Fox? Ja is so explosive, and seeing him back on the floor, you're just like, dude, you forget like how talented of a player he is. Some of the moves he's making out there, I'm like, I don't know how your body spins that way. And did you just switch hands?
His ability to finish at the rim, to get to the rim. And that's why you're seeing this team as a whole different team when he's on the floor, even though they lost tonight with him on the floor for the first time since he's been back. I mean, it's the NBA. You're going to lose some games, but Ja Morant truly is a tremendous player, and they've missed him.
How big of a concern for you tonight was the rebounding thing? That I feel like we didn't even talk about the total of this. Just real fast, 51-38. And I thought about it because I was thinking
Deuce
about
wants
this.
to keep
Sorry,
reflecting.
all right.
Deuce is like, wait, can we go back to the assist though? What about did we touch on Harrison Barnes enough?
Yes, we did. But the Kings got out rebounded tonight, 51-38. I also want to acknowledge they had 35 assists, 12 turnovers. The rebounding tonight was bad.
It was bad.
What's
but
going on with that?
I don't know. The Hawks were just
They're relentless.
showing a little bit more effort, and it's like rebounding's effort. Rebounding's crashing the board, like running in there, putting a body on somebody. It's details. Like I always say, I feel like anyone could rebound the basketball with a little bit of strength and a little bit of focus, you know?
The Hawks were just awesome with it tonight.
Yeah.
How about my guy that I pumped up to you, Jalen Johnson?
Yep.
Jalen Johnson had 16 points, 15 rebounds. He had 4 assists. He did have 4 turnovers. He didn't shoot it super efficiently, but you see the potential in his game. That dunk he had when Trae Young found him.
Oh, my God. In
and he was
transition. Yeah. And just him defensively,
steal.
his length, all those things.
I think if you're a Hawks fan, you're obviously not feeling good right now because this team, with all the talent they have, they're 12-19. You're going,
just lost 4 straight.
you gave up so much to get Murray. You started the season 9-9. You've lost, 10 of 13 or something like that now? Just a mess. Yeah, I'm looking at, they traded so much to get DeJounte Murray. Now he's in trade talks, it seems like. Trae Young, we know what he's capable of. Bogey's been playing like a 6th man of the year, but it's kind of a mixed bag. I think Jalen Johnson is one of the pieces you look at if you're a Hawks fan going, all right, I'm excited about him in the future because of what he can do defensively. He had one on that Keegan Murray drive where he helped.
Yeah.
And that ended up being a jump ball. That was a fantastic play. He's just so good at staying vertical, using his size to contest. He's physical. I like his game.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about him a lot, and I think we already know what he's going to add to them in the future and everything. So for the Kings, it's got to make sure to box him out.
Sorry, Morgan.
It's okay.
Morgan's mad because I went back to the
He
Hawks.
went back to it, and I'm like, bro.
Because I don't like
cute.
missing things.
No. This is the funny thing about Deuce. Deuce would literally be like, Morgan, I'm having so much podcasting. Let's podcast for 7 hours, which I think is adorable. But I also really love having closing strong. And Deuce is like, wait, can we stay? Wait. We don't have a game tomorrow. We have a Stockton Kings game tomorrow.
We do have a game
We
tomorrow.
don't have a game tomorrow. Can we just stay on for a couple more hours?
No, I'm wrapping up. I was just mentioning a couple of things I did not want to miss.
That's
fine.
all.
Okay.
That's fine. No.
So-
Hey, do you want to sing your song again?
No, I don't.
Welcome to Sacramento, where the Kings play.
And they win their games like every day.
Yeah, why
Big
not?
dunks, hit threes. The Kings are rolling. That's what it was. The Kings are rolling, and the party doesn't stop till Arco stops roaring. That's what it was. I remembered it. Welcome to Sacramento, where the Kings play, and they win their games like every day. Big dunks, hit threes. What was the part?
Oh my God!
The Kings are rolling, and the party don't stop till Arco stops roaring. Yes! It's coming back! It's coming back to me now!
He's like a kid that just wait, but we have 7 more things we can do. Can we keep playing? Can we keep going?
Just wait till New Year's Eve. Oh my
Oh
god!
my God! Yeah. We'll
The
see.
brain is amazing. It's I wrote that when I was 13. Little Deuce. Welcome to Sacramento, where the Kings play. You know?
Is that what you sound like?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
What's your fantasy?
Ew, and I hope you didn't know that song at 13.
100% I did.
That is so gross and creepy.
On the Georgia Dome at the 50-yard line
Okay,
with a
we're
dirty
not.
bird kick
I
for
don't.
3.
Okay, cool. You wrapped it. Do you knowing the lyrics to that song at 13?
Yeah, it was on the radio a lot back then. What's your fantasy?
That is so.
I love that
What a
song.
bad kid. Bad kid. Bad kid.
The people pod for that one.
How did
Thank
you not end up in jail or something? You're disgusting.
Oh, am I tone deaf? I'm sorry. I don't have that skill. Look, I've got pipes. I've got the ability to entertain. I'm funny. I'm sexy. I'm good looking. I know basketball, and I carry this podcast every night. Sorry that I can't perform songs at a high level, but guess what? I can write them.
Really?
Son of a bitch. Anyway,
Come on.
let's get to some final thoughts. Hey, no, this is a new thing we do on the podcast. Final thoughts. It could be about anything. It could be about life. It could be about the game. It could be about the NBA. It could be about anything.
The FA campaign?
You already did that.
I know. I just wanted to see
Be
your
about
reaction.
Coach Nick.
Oh my god! It could be about anything. You already did that. Oh my god! I have a cramp in my side.
Oh, what's up?
I think it's important when you reflect back on a game like this.
Deuce. Deuce.
Is that the chat was saying we could hear Coach Nick? I couldn't hear him, and now he's here. Someone was just asking, "Where's Nick?" He is here during Morgan's final thoughts. Nick, you're back.
This is my final thought. So whatever you're about to say is my
Nick
final
is back.
thought.
Nick. The chat is chanting his name.
Mo.
Hi, Nick. What are you doing?
Why not we tonight? Why not?
Why not? Did you just wake back up?
Yeah, hey, I wanted to say, I got a new phone, iPhone 11. It's way better than the iPhone 8 Plus. It was not charging, so I had to get a new phone. So the phone is better.
Well, I'm glad you upgraded to the iPhone 11.
And you are crystal clear.
What?
Yeah,
iPhone?
and New Year's Eve is coming up, and I'm looking forward to New Year's Eve, and I'm looking forward to the Kings to win every game. So like to beat every game every night.
Yes.
Sacramento.
Yes.
Wow.
And
In 2024.
quick follow-up, Nick. Are you naked?
Why not?
Oh.
Why not like to beat every day of the game? Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, why not? And also, are you naked, Nick, right now?
You know what he is right now? He is happy, Nick.
Yeah, he is.
He's like good old Saint Nick. Did you have a good Christmas, Nick?
Hey, the Kings are gonna light the beam because I'll be at the King. I got the January Kings pass, and I will be
Ooh.
there.
Oh, well, we won't miss ya.
Nick, were you talking while we were talking for 3 minutes? People in the chat were mentioning that.
I think so.
over your
Yeah,
song.
I mean, what's bad about it is it's just
Yeah,
like the
you-
audio
yeah,
of it's going to be
you
so
heard-
bad.
Yeah, you heard me.
No, I did not actually hear you because we had you down. They could hear you, but we can't. So remember the rules, Nick. Just you don't talk while we're talking, okay? We go to you.
Okay.
And Nick, real fast, your hair's growing. It's getting long, but what did you do for Christmas? Did you get anything cool?
I got some Kings. I do want to say that I do have a Kings hat. I have a Kings hat that says "Why not?" It has a "Why not" hat on it.
Whoa!
Wait,
what?
wait,
see it.
what?
Let's see it.
I got a Kings hat and that says "Why not" hat.
Let me
It's got
see
a
it.
why
Where-
not hat.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
Well,
Keep the camera up, Nick. We only see that little one.
seriously?
Take your time, Nick.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, I will.
It's right here. It's right here. I got it.
Okay, let's see it.
Well,
Well-
can we see the front? Where does it say why not?
Okay.
Whoa, it says why not on the side.
Wait, who got that for you?
My dad did.
That is so
That is
cool.
so
That's
cool.
amazing, Nick.
We said why not on the broadcast the other night for you.
Yeah. Hey, why not wear the hat?
Yeah,
why not wear the new hat?
Why not wear the new hat at the Kings game?
Yeah.
Why not wear the hat?
I agree,
Why
Nick.
not?
All right, Nick. One last thing. I need your message to the team after this win tonight. What's your message?
Well, the Kings are gonna fire the laser. Let's get this win, and let's just hope that we can. Let's just win this game. Let's win all the games.
I love
it.
Keep playing. Why not wear that hat Why not wear that hat? Why not go to the Kings game in January?
Well,
Copy.
we missed you, man. We missed you, and we hope you're doing well.
Why do I have Deuce give me a pizza?
I already did. Now sleep beams.
Morgan should give me a pizza over there.
Hey, you cut that out. Sleep beams, Nick.
Sleep babes.
There's Nick. And for the audio people who are listening to this, if you heard Nick at some point, we couldn't hear him, but everyone else could.
God.
That's a great way to end it. Good to hear from Nick. It's been a while since we heard his voice.
Love that guy.
He's the best. Coach Nick. We love you guys so much. We'll be back live again New Year's Eve for Kings-Grizzlies. We'll reflect on that game and look back at 2023. What a year it was for the Kings. We love you guys so much, but we gots to go.
You all have a wonderful rest of your night. See ya.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.